All right, grown-ups, it's just our time. I love the babies, but to help you, I gotta speak my mind. This segment's here to help you grow with book reviews, lessons, and things you'll be glad to know. If your little one's restless or looking to play, send them to my other playlist. The read-alouds there will brighten their day. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Behind the Book, where we go beyond the pages to get to the heart of the story. I'm Miss Erica, the teacher lady. You're a fairy godparent when it comes to sharing joyful stories and growing young minds. Now, all this week, we are learning about what it means to feel love and give love. And y'all know we are using picture books to be able to do so. We kick things off with a read aloud of What is Love as well as I Hope. And now we are going into this behind the book segment of I Hope by Monique Gray Smith, illustrated by Gabrielle Grimmer. This book is basically a love letter. It is words of affirmations and just overall a short, heartfelt story about what love could mean and what it could look like. So in today's review, I'll be sharing my glows, what I think was done well, my grows, what I think could have been done a little bit differently, who this book is for, how to utilize it as a resource to have a more meaningful and robust conversation with your little one, and more, all in this segment of Behind the Book, where we go beyond the pages to get to the heart of the story. You ready? Let's grow. Summary in my own words. This is a really short story about what it means to love someone else. So every page is going to have a different affirmation, a different desire, or a wish for that person. I hope you are able to help your neighbors, or I hope you take care of planet Earth. These short sentences somehow fall right here in your heart and they make you feel warm and thought of. So overall, I would say it's a love letter, a list of affirmations, or just overall this idea that you are wishing well for someone else. Take home message, and was it clearly communicated for the target audience? So the take home message is really that there are multiple ways to show and feel loved. For this book, that would be the words of affirmation. Using these words to convey this beautiful message that you are thought of and you are seen. The message is simple. I love you, I care about you, and as a result, these are the things that I hope for you in your life. In terms of age group, you can go super young with this book. 2-year-olds deserve to hear what it means to be loved or thought of, all the way on up to us grown-ups. I know for me personally, the first time I read this story, I genuinely cried. I came out of foster care, and these were not words that I heard all the time. So I felt like the first time when I read it as an adult, it really hit home. And having something like this as a resource to have this just short, friendly reminder that you are thinking about the people in your lives really does go a long way. Who should add this book to their library? There are kind of three groups of people that I feel like could really benefit from this book. The first is families. Families with young children. This is a super easy bedtime story. And even a reminder your child is having a hard day. They're kind of stumping through the house. Grabbing this book and reading it to them honestly might go a long way, because sometimes they just need a reminder that not everything in the world is bad and someone is genuinely wishing them well and rooting for them. The second group of people I would say could really utilize this book are educators. Teachers who have students in their classroom that don't get to hear things like this. Students that you're going to have to break that barrier of trust and let them know that you genuinely care about them. I feel like this book is so versatile in the sense that an educator can read it to a child, or a parent can read it to a child, and it still works extremely well. And along those same lines, I would say the third kind of group of people I would recommend this book for are guidance counselors. Guidance counselors or therapists that work with children from harmful or hurtful backgrounds, children who are trying to understand their own self-esteem or self-worth, or they just feel like they don't belong anywhere and no one sees them. Once again, these simple words could have a major impact and letting that child know that you hope these things for them. My glows. One thing that I love about this book is the poetry of it. I am a poet at heart. I am a spoken word poet. I love poetry. I love writing. And the repetitiveness and the simplicity of the text and it feeling like a warm hug is truly poetry. So although the story does not rhyme, it definitely has this consistent flow, which just makes you want to go to the next page. My next glow for this book has to be the illustrations because of how they are illustrated. So the illustrations really do show a wide variety of children, of age groups, of even religious beliefs. There are just different types of people throughout the story, different ways that you can be helpful or kind to Mother Earth. And it's just one of those stories that looking at the picture really does help to bring the story home. And just overall, the illustrations helping to bring the words to life. My last glow in a lot of ways is her saying I love you without actually saying the words I love you. I hope kind of gives it the ability to be versatile. I know right now in schools, it's harder to tell a child that you love them or to be as connected as you want to. And so having this book as a resource to essentially deliver that message without explicitly saying it if an educator is uncomfortable, I think is powerful because you do feel the love through the pages. And I'm an educator that's always going to tell my babies and my students that I love them, but I understand the challenges that are taking place and the difficulty within that. So as always, we're going to find a workaround. And this book is definitely a workaround. Every page feels like love. Every page feels like joy and celebration and acknowledgement and affirmation and reassurance that you are cared for without explicitly saying, I love you. Grows or what I think could have been done differently. My only grow is definitely personal more than any. I want it to be longer. I want to know what else you hope for me. What else is it that I need to know? You know, this really is one of those pick me up books. And I just feel like it's too short. Give me more. And so this is in no way a critique on the author or the artist, just my desire and really me telling you how much I appreciate this story, my desire to have more. It is a short read, which is good for bedtime, but there was this desire to have more pages and to just, I don't know, kind of continue that feeling. So for me, it was a bit short, but overall still definitely recommend. How to utilize this book as a resource to have a more meaningful or robust conversation with your child. Some things don't have to be super deep, and I think that this is one of them. For me, the discussion would simply be, how do you receive love? Which affirmation stood out most to you? Because once you understand that, you'll know and better understand how they do feel love. You'll better understand how to communicate with them. And so if I hope you are kind or I hope you are courageous, if those things meant something to them, hold on to that and figure out how to incorporate more of that through your day-to-day. Maybe you utilize this as an activity to write a love letter to each other or a letter of hope and affirmations to each other. Maybe you can utilize it as an activity to do this for yourself. What are your own hopes that you have for yourself, your own dreams and your own desires? And the same for your child, even if they're not writing yet. What hopes do they have for themselves? What is it that they want to see? And it's just really a book that you just talk about. There aren't a bunch of guidelines. Sometimes with children, you read them a story, you point out the pictures, you ask them what they saw, and that is enough. And this is one of those situations where doing just that is enough. Enjoy the story with the person you love and care about most, the people you love and care about most, and allow the conversation to flow freely. My final thoughts are that I Hope is really a love letter to children. It shows that love is not just what we feel, but also our desires for their lives. It also shows that we believe in them. And really what it boils down to is that every child deserves to be surrounded by hope and affirmation. Thank you so much for reading with me, for being part of this book loving community, for listening to the episodes, for subscribing, joining the newsletter, sharing it with a friend. I just appreciate you all. Somebody has taken the time to watch this episode, and for me, that really does mean a lot. I love helping, and I hope that these episodes are helpful for you. If you don't know already, I am an author and an illustrator, as well as the initiator of this Pay It Forward program called the Empathy Library. The goal is simple. You donate what you can. We then buy books to children who need them, and then they get the books. Extremely straightforward, and it feeds the desire to make sure that every child is receiving intentional books. Okay, that means literacy for them on purpose. On Friday, we will have the Teacher Lady Speaks segment, which is where I take this week's topic and I put it into a crash course or professional development to use my experience teaching tiny humans to help enhance your experience raising them. Thank you for being with me. Until next time, remember to enjoy the moment or go be a joy in the moment. Bye.